Like to welcome all of you to another one of our co-founder trainings. That's actually paid training that we do on Mondays, and we also do Mondays and Thursdays. Today is Monday, September 8th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time in the US. And we appreciate all of you that have chosen to be here and receiving the paid training. Of course, to be able to get paid training, you got to be on the distribution list. If you have any question about being on the distribution list, reach out to one of our executives. They work around the clock for you. There's always somebody on staff, on duty, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It doesn't matter. And you can just find who that is by going to the Wall of Joy on Telegram. So, by the way, anybody going to the Wall of Joy, be aware that there are pinned messages at the very top of the Wall of Joy. We encourage everybody to keep up with those pinned messages. I think there's 10 of them up there now. Very important information. That's why they're pinned. Mainly because we do have somebody out there pretending to be me, pretending to be Nancy. I mean, pretending to be a whole bunch of people and just running some sort of a scam. And some people have fallen for it. So we want you to be aware of it and how to protect yourself from those kind of people that are out there. You know, so be sure to look at all those pinned messages when you're on the Wall of Joy. Also, remember the purpose of the Wall of Joy, why it's called the Wall of Joy is it's not really a tech support group. What it really is a place that we can motivate you and uplift you. So let's kind of keep the material and content on that Telegram page to be that sort of stuff, uplifting, motivating stuff. When you guys present your problems that you're having onto the Wall of Joy, it's kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do there. That's why we have an executive team that will actually, address any kind of issue, regardless of what it might, or even any kind of question. So you can reach out to that executive that's on staff at any time, 365 days a year, and then they will sort through your questions, your concerns, your issues, your tech problems, whatever the case might be. You don't need to present that in front of 15, 1600 people on the Wall of Joy. It's not very motivating when we see that. So be sure to use that resource properly. Such an exciting time that we're in right now. A week ago, we were kind of, in when I'm looking at the price of PML a week ago, things were kind of getting kind of scary because we have the floor at 50,000 and we were quickly sinking down to it. We don't really want to get below $50,000 on the price of PML because then, a lot of the benefits that we love go away, right? So, let me go ahead and share my screen and show you the chart now. We've managed to get some cooperation from the majority of the community, and the result has been we've been able to increase the price from where it was way down here, got way down here, and it got, here it was coming down hard right there again, and it was like, hey guys, we need to put a focus on building up the value here. And we did. We ended up succeeding at moving the price from all the way down here, all the way up here. And then it looks like somebody with multiple accounts kind of came in and did a sweep early this morning while I was sleeping. And then they sold out. So those accounts have been suspended because we suspect that they're multiple accounts anyway. So normally we wouldn't suspend an account for selling PML, but in this case we did because it really appears to be a one person, with multiple accounts. You're not allowed to do that. Okay. So our price target is what? What is the price target for PML, guys?
1 million.
1 million.
All right. So we're a third of the way there with 300,000. We're one third of the way there. So we're asking for the community to cooperate and just not sell PML at this time. Okay. Just wait until we get to our price target. We can hopefully get there within a number of days. I don't think it's going to take months. I think it's going to be a number of days. We can get to our price target. Believe it or not, things move much quickly now that we're past 300,000. Even like, $100 ends up moving the price of the coin like $10,000. It moves it quickly at this point. So, And later on, when we get past $500,000, it's like $100 will move it like $20,000 or $30,000. So with the way we've got this structured, with the liquidity, we're just going to accelerate faster and faster towards our price target of $1 million. And then we change strategies at that point. Once we hit the price target, then we go into the next strategy, which is price stability. And once we're at price stability, that is really the best time to, do some selling, a reasonable selling, okay, during the time that we're, working on price strategy. And once we've achieved price strategy, then it's going to be a non-issue at that point, because at the point of achieving price stability above $1 million, then it's going to be very fluid at that point. There'll be plenty of people buying, plenty of people that are cashing in because they, it makes sense for them to do so for their individual situation. But before we get there, it's not. Okay. So right now we've asked everyone just to kind of hold off on selling PML. And frankly, with the new thing that's coming up this week, it really doesn't make sense to sell PML right now. It makes a lot more sense to accumulate it. Okay, I'm going to talk about that now. What am I talking about? Okay, so right now, if we go into the lending website,
Come on, gentlemen.
and if we go into lend, you can see here that I can create an offer right now. Okay, looks like the last offer I did was at 1,811. So there's 1,811 their orders inside the lender's pool here, this pipeline. Okay. So I'm going to create a new offer now. Notice when I create the new offer that it's going to say, okay, that's it for today. Close. Okay. Says you have existing offer today. Okay. So right now it doesn't let me do another one until 24 hours is rolled out. That's going to change. Okay. For those people that have more than $3,000 inside their PML coins. So guys, do I have more than $3,000 here in PML coin?
You have way more.
Yes.
A lot
Okay.
more.
So I'm fine. Okay. So when that happens, you'll be able to do 2 loans a day instead of 1. Right now, it's 1 still until we get the coded part in. The coded part will say, okay, it's going to check over here. Is this number bigger than $3,000? If so, then the person is allowed to do 2 in one day instead of 1 per day, which means that the max that they get is increased from $1,500 per month to $3,000 per month per person. How does that sound, guys?
Sounds
That
excellent.
sounds mean.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Sounds cool.
I mean, 3,000 is
Amazing.
big money around the world. So in order for that to happen, you have to have accumulated over $3,000 here in order to even qualify for that. Otherwise, you're still just doing 1 a day. Okay. So that gives everybody an incentive to accumulate. In other words, buy and hold the PML coin and not sell it. Okay. Because you can't double up on the number of loans you can do per day until you get over that mark of 3,000. So I'm just curious, just how many people are above that 3,000 right now? Well, let's see. We have to do a little bit of math to figure that one out. Okay. So let's see here. We get my handy calculator out. So let's go back to the price real quick. I'm going to look at the price again. There's 305. Yeah, 305. Okay. Get the calculator out and right here. Let's go clear that out and let's go $3,000. Divide that by 305,000. Okay, so 305,000. That's going to give me a number 0098. Okay. So clearly anybody that's got 0.1, right, is fine all the way up to 9.8, right? So let's just see on the holders, how many would be qualified right now to do two loans per day? Okay, let's take a look at the holders. Open this up. We have 463 holders at the moment. So we got to find, okay, so here's a 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Keep coming down. 0.1, 0.1. Okay, right there. See this one right here, number 30. Okay, number 30 is 0.1. They have 3,000. This one right here, 31. 0097. Well, that's less than 9.8. So this one just barely misses it, right? This number misses it. Am I right?
Yep.
So the way to look at
Yep.
this guys is that it doesn't make sense to sell your PML coin because what do you call it, Hunter, when people are selling prematurely? You call it like seed coin, or what do you call it?
Seed corn.
Seed corn, right?
Yeah.
So if you sell all of your seed corn, can you plant corn?
Nope.
No, you don't have any seed to plant corn. So how are you going to get corn, right? So, see, that's the thing is, see, people that would sell their coin off before they get to 3,000, they're really minimizing how much power they have in the lending website. Am I right? So doesn't it
Yes,
make
exactly.
sense?
Yes.
Doesn't it make sense to you guys, out of 463 holders? Doesn't it make sense that 430 of them should not even be thinking about selling right now? It's premature for them to even be thinking about it. Would you guys?
Yes.
Okay. Because you want to have at least 3,000 in there, right?
Right.
And the thing is, as soon as you do a loan, if you barely have 3,000 and you do a loan, now you're down to 2,900, right? Or I should take that back, 2,950, right? So then you're below it again, right? So technically, you're gonna need probably a little bit more than 3,000, right? If and in fact, if you had 6,000, then you would be good. That'd be more like 2%, right? Then you could do two loans every day, and you'd be fine. So that's number 11. That's the contract. So that'd be number 10. So from basically 10 up, there should only be basically 10 people that are even thinking about selling because they have the room to be able to handle that and it doesn't disqualify them from doing two loans per day. That's $100 a day for going click 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 click. That's all you got to do to make $100.
Easy.
I think
Easy.
I think we got to make that really clear to everyone. Okay, everybody say it with me. Click 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 click
Click,
click
click, click.
click to make $100.
Click, click,
Click,
click.
click,
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 click to make $100.
Click, 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 click.
Just six clicks, right? Click 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 to make $100.
Click, click, click.
Click, click, click.
Clickety click.
click, 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 click.
And that's
Click,
click,
click, click.
amigos.
that's some crazy
Click,
money
click,
around
click,
the world.
amigos.
There you
Click,
go.
click,
That's it. It's catching
click,
on.
click,
It's catching on.
Click, click,
So
click, amigos.
so
click,
so
click, click.
I know a lot of people they look at this like, okay, it's not real until I can sell, right? It's not real until I can sell. But there's enough people selling that you already know it's real. So how do you again, the mind games that people play is kind of funny if you ask me. Look, guys, we're trying to help you go from wherever you're at to a much better place financially. You call it wealthy, abundant, prosperous, give it a name, right? We want to take you from where you're at, okay, wherever that might be. Maybe you're stuck in a job that you don't like anymore. You know what I'm saying? And you want to get out of it. Well, this could be your ticket, right? But it's going to give it a couple of months of accumulating, right? Accumulate some coin because the doubling effect here works for you, right? If you start with $50, then it might take you 4 or 5 months to build that up to 1,500 and another month to build it up to 3,000, maybe a month after that to build it up to 6,000, right? You might be 7 or 8 months before even selling anything. But hey, if you start with $500, then you double 500 into 1,000, 1,000 turns into 2,000, 2,000 turns into 4,000. You're right there, and maybe in half the time. Okay. If you start with 1,000, you can maybe shorten it down to just a couple of months, right? So the more that you can buy in, right? In other words, what makes the price of PML go up? People buying, right?
Buying. Yeah.
So we should have hundreds of you buying right now to get more coin to accelerate your ability to get to that point where it's mature. Okay. And once it's mature, then that's the time that you can start to sell. It makes more sense for someone that's got $3,000 a month coming in that they should be able to sell up to $3,000 a month. And there's only like 10 of them right now that are in that position. Right.
Wow.
But if you have hundreds of people buying $100, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars of coin, and then there's only 10 or 20 or 30 people selling, right? You see how it balances out, guys? Does that make
Yeah.
sense to you? Right?
Yeah.
How the balance actually works here? Okay.
Makes sense.
That's the idea. So what we want to do is kind of, train everyone on the concept of using cryptocurrency as a asset that you can borrow against. Okay, because we're accumulating, mass quantities. I mean, if you take a look over at my pool funding website, I've got a whole bunch of coins stocked up here on my over here, and a lot of you are the same. If you go to the account page, and I go to the $100 pool, for example. I mean, look at what I got stacked up over here. I've got $3.1 million stacked up here, and I got $900,000 distributed there. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. Now imagine being able to be on a lending website like Aave or something like that, be able to borrow against those kind of numbers. Okay. So the micro lending that we're doing on this website is training you on how to later on use something else down the road, maybe a third party. There's like 100 different versions of it out there, but you could end up, taking whatever you've got accumulated in pool funding coin with these higher values and then being able to borrow against that. Okay. So that's the whole concept. We use the two websites, together to kind of train people on how to look at this the right way. The right way to look at it is, doesn't make sense to sell cryptocurrency. It makes more sense to hold it, more sense to accumulate it and later borrow against it. Is when that idea sinks into everyone, okay, then we're going to have very few sellers. Okay. And look what happens when we have very few sellers. Okay. Take a look at the chart here again. Like for the longest time, for 4 or 5 days, we didn't have anybody selling PML coin. And look what happened to the chart here. See that? She basically went straight up, right? With very little resistance. It wasn't until just this morning. So I think one person came in there with multiple accounts and then ended up selling, but that disqualified them from everything. Now they're not going to get paid training. Now they're not going to be able to, they won't be able to do any more borrowing. They won't be able to borrow again, right? So all that kind of stuff happens when you break the rules. Okay. So temporarily, we're asking people not to sell right now because we want to get to our price target as fast as we can, and then after we hit that, then we want to switch our strategy into the price stability strategy. Okay, and then actually create that. So we move into the strategy to create it, and then after it's been created, after we have created price stability, then there's a lot more flexibility and freedom to sell at that point. But before that, not so much. I hope I'm being very clear. Am I?
You are.
Am I being successful in being
Yes,
clear?
you are.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Crystal.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crystal.
Stop selling
Very
your
clear.
Stop selling your seed corn. You're not going to have any corn if you sell your seed corn.
Wait.
Yeah. So just accumulate for now. And maybe it takes a few months, and that's good. That's a good thing. It takes a few months for the majority of people are going to join us. It might take them 4 or 5 months before they're ever selling anything. And that's what we want. We want the majority not selling, and we want a very small group of people that have fully matured to be the ones that are selling because they deserve it. They deserve to sell at that point because they have matured. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how everything balances out, right? Because certainly by the time a person matures, they want to know that there's no problem with them taking out $3,000 a month because they deserve it. And there
Yes.
shouldn't be a problem. And as long as we have growth happening underneath, okay, by the way, that's the number one key to all of this. Without growth, this thing will just kind of spiral downward and go nowhere, you know. But with growth, this all works. So we have something so exciting that, you know, how many of you would like to make more than a brain surgeon in the Philippines? How many people would be interested in that? How many of you would like to make
Yes.
more than a brain surgeon
I
in the
would.
Philippines? Okay.
Me.
Well, geez, how much does a brain surgeon make in the Philippines? Let's see what Google has to say. Okay. Let's go here. Let's go to Google real quick. And how much does a brain surgeon make? Well, it says they average between 2.7 and 2.8, but it says the entry level brain surgeon coming in, they get $1.6 million or pesos. They wish it were dollars, right? They get 1.6 million pesos per year. Okay. Well, how much is that per year in dollars? So if you come here and do the exchange, you know, 1.6 million pesos to US dollars is $28,000 is what our entry level brain surgeons are making here in the Philippines. What do you guys think about that?
Very low.
That's crazy, right? Compared to brain surgeons in the US. Put a couple
Wouldn't
more
go far
zeros
here.
on that. What's that?
Big difference.
Yeah, I think a brain surgeon in the U.S. just on one surgery would make that much, but it's very much different, you know, in other parts of the world. And so I think the Philippines actually represents what's going on in most of the world better than places like the U.S. The U.S. is kind of the exception to the rule, not the rule of how things really work, you know, around the world. So 28,000. Well, if you're making $3,000 a month. That's 36,000 a year. That's a lot more than a brain surgeon, an entry-level brain surgeon in the Philippines. And your job isn't to go do brain surgery. Your job is to go click, 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 get paid $100, right? That's the difference. So, how many of you want to be a brain surgeon now? Anybody here want to be a brain surgeon?
No,
Sure.
thanks.
Who would rather go click, 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 and get paid $100? Who wants that?
Yes,
Me.
I do.
I like the 6 clicks.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That I like that.
I
Mhm.
like the click, click, click.
There you go.
I like the click.
And then a year from now,
click.
2 years from now, you go to Abe, you got this great business idea. You need $1 million to you know, basically build your warehouse and your factory and whatever you're going to do. And you need $1 million. You take your several million that you've stored up in pool funding you've accumulated over the last year or two, and then you take that into one of these big platforms like Abe, and you use it as collateral to get yourself, you know, $1 million loan that you can use to build that factory and you know, start your own little big enterprise. Okay. Little big, that's funny. But your very own you know, enterprise, and you know, it could become as big as you want to make it. That's what we're doing here. We're empowering you to get to that point, but it did not take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. We're talking 1 or 2, 3 years, and you're at a point where you're in a position that you could borrow against what you've accumulated in pool funding to, you know, go out and do something massive, something big for you, right? This micro lending website is like a taste, you know, it's like a sample, okay? A little sample of what's possible. 3,000 a month. It's a sample of the power here. But see, if you had your own multi-million-dollar business, maybe that also helped, you know, bring in millions of dollars per year to you, into your pocket, because it's your creation, your thing, what you made. And then pool funding was just a stepping stone to get you there. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
That's the
Yes.
plan. Okay.
Yes,
That's why we're doing these trainings. So you guys understand the plan. Okay. We want you to understand the plan.
Didn't know it went that far.
Yeah. Yeah. It's huge.
I
So
see.
appreciate the micro lending and the power it can bring now that we're going to double it up. You know what I'm saying? We're going to double it up to, maxes out at 3,000 a month, okay, instead of 1,500. It just feels better saying that, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 3,000 just it really resonates with me, you know. And I know for people all around the world, whether you're in the Philippines or you're in South America or you're in Africa, I mean, just all over the world, 3,000 is pretty good money, you know. I think for people even in Hungary where I was visiting, I think 3,000 be pretty good over there too, you know. For people in Hungary where I was recently. In the US, that'll get you 2 weeks. It is so expensive to live in the US. It's terrible, you know, just the cost of
Yes, it
living
is.
in the US, and it's not getting better. You know, it's getting worse. So, yeah. But at some point, if you got enough money coming in, it doesn't matter. You can live anywhere you want to, including a very expensive place like the US, right? That's the beauty of it. You just got to get to the point where you're making that much money. Okay. For me, what does money mean to me? Money, the thing I get most excited about is buying time. That's what I really am interested in. I want to buy as much time as I can get, the more money I have, the more money I can, more time I can buy, because I like having the ability to choose what I get to do with my time. I am not necessarily constricted to somebody else's thing. I'm not on a job or something like that where I got to do their thing. You know, I'm free from that, right? So right now I'm building my own thing. And so I'm using my time on my own thing, but even my own thing takes my time. And to me, the ultimate freedom for me is like have everything systematized to the point where the system doesn't need me at all. Like I'm expendable, okay? And I can just leave the system completely, even the system that I'm creating, and then I don't have to participate in the system in order for it to keep taking care of me, right? I can still be taken care of by the system even though I'm not working the system. That's my future. And I'm not going to wait 10 years for that. I'm expecting that future like within a year from now. That's what I'm expecting. Because I'd much rather be traveling around and hanging out with you guys. That's my plan actually. That's what I want to do because I'm building a big family and I want to get to know my family as I go out there and meet you in person. So that's the
Yay.
thing I'm excited about. Yeah.
Goes
Wow.
both ways, Ace.
And plus
Yeah.
I have a lot of
Yeah.
crazy interests, There's this one question that keeps this one aching question I keep asking. I've been asking it for over 10 years now. And it's a weird question. I'm going to tell you up front, it's a weird question, but I'm doing my best to get to the bottom of it. And the question I keep asking is, what is reality? You know? And so a lot of you are like, what? Reality isn't what it appears to be, I can tell you that. And just the second you think you figured it out, you're probably wrong. Okay. So I really would like to know what reality is. I'd like to get down to the what is reality. Because then it's always like if you have a map and a compass, you can navigate, right? But if you don't even know where you're at, and that's why I think most of us are, kind of like just like pinballs in a pinball machine bouncing around, and we don't even know where we're at, So, but because we don't even know what is reality. But that's the question I keep asking, and I like to have more time to explore because I've been down so many different possibilities. This could be this, could be that, could be this other. But that's to me, that's what I'm excited about. That's a weird thing, right? I'm kind of weird in that way. But that's me. We all have our thing. So everybody gets to do their thing, whatever that might be. The more money you have, the more you can do the thing that you want to do, whatever that might be. Okay. All right. So that's my training for you today. I just want to make it very clear. do what it takes to get on the list so that you can get paid training. Work with the executive team to do so. And then once you're on that, keep showing up because you're going to learn every time you come in. And then realize that it makes more sense not to sell than it does to sell. And really, there's only a handful of people that should even be thinking about selling because they're already at the point of maturity right now. And yeah, they probably can afford to sell, but they're going to wait for us to get to our price target and start working on price stability. I'm just doing a recap here, right? So we want price stability. And then once we have achieved price stability, then those people that have matured should have no problem taking out $3,000 a month at price stability once we've achieved it. Because then we got thousands of people coming in every day, brand new people, and a brand new person can jump over to the Wall of Joy, get in touch with an executive on the executive team, get themselves through the process. They can do that on their first day, no problem. So that when they come into the next training, then they're getting paid for it. Okay, no problem. It can happen that fast. Just got to know where to go. Okay, realize the key is not Nancy. The key is not Mr. Gildas. The key, or me. How many of you come right to me? No, the key is to go to someone on the executive team. That's their job. They're getting paid to do that. Okay, that's what they're supposed to do with their time. So we still have 250 of you here. So we're hanging into, you're hanging on. I appreciate that. So I'm going to open it up to you guys now. Is there anybody here who's got a burning question for me, the founder, about anything? Is there anything you'd like me to tell you about? Anything at all? Feel free to ask. If Jeffrey, you want to ask something?
No, I was just saying that. Just a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of. It's feeling really good over here in the southeast United States. I
Okay,
can say
good
that.
deal. All right, good
That's
deal.
it. That's
We
it.
do have a couple of hands up. So we've got Miki. Go ahead. You got your hand up out of Montana. How you doing, Miki?
How are you? I know the price target, which is $1 million. What is
Yeah.
the price stability?
So the price target's $1 million, and you're asking what is price stability?
Yes.
It's basically we know we've achieved price stability when someone could come in and take $1,000 out and the price doesn't change that much at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
But right now, if you take $1,000 out, if you suddenly sell $1,000 of PML coin in one little whack, the price will probably go from 300,000 down to 150,000.
So what is the range of the price?
Right now, we don't want to create the range until we are working on price stability. Okay, so first we want to get to $1 million, and then probably the first range will be $500,000 to $1.5 million. That'll be the first range, right? So that'll be our wide thing, and then we'll narrow it down, bump it above $1 million, and then have it then maybe range between $1 million to $2 million for a period of time. And then maybe get it to maybe at that point, it's maybe, it gets to the point where it's like $1.5 million to $2 million. And then maybe it turns into, 1.8 million to 2 million. And, eventually the range gets tighter as we hit price stability. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. But it's going to be a very big range until the price stability actually is created. And it's a completely different strategy than the strategy we're using to hit the price target. We do want to add liquidity, right? So right now we're trying to dry up the liquidity. So liquidity in moving to our price target, we want to dry it up quickly to get to our price target. Price stability is about adding more liquidity and getting it to the point. Let's say that we have a price that's $1 million and we have $1 million of liquidity in the coin. Okay, then we'd have price stability for sure at that point. Let me show you what it looks like right now. Great question. Very, very intelligent question. Okay, right now on version 3, we've got about $12,000 of liquidity against an asset valued at 306,000, right? So that's not price stability at all, right? See, the 12,000 is so much smaller than the 306,000, right? But imagine this being $1 million and that being $1 million. Oh yeah, someone could take out 3,000 and the price probably wouldn't even go down You know, it would maybe go down $500. You know what I'm saying? Even though they took 3,000 out, the price only dips like $500, right? That's what happens when you get price stability established. Okay. But it's an effort, you know, it's not going to happen in one day, you know. But yeah, right now we're in the strategy of price target. Next strategy, price stability. Any other question, Mickey? No? Okay.
That means even if you have over $3,000, it's kind of stupid to take $3,000 because you just need to aim at price stability. That way you don't hurt community, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, so
uh,
for those people that, and I think, you know, there's a few of you that fall in this category right now where you already have over $3, $5, $6,000 of coin right now, PML.
uh,
And yeah,
uh-huh,
you'd be qualified right now to sell according to the rule, if you will.
uh-huh.
But it doesn't make sense to do that during the time that we're in the phase of price, you know, target, the price target
Yes,
phase, right?
yes,
It's best to
yeah,
wait, you know, another month or two when we've
yeah,
established price stability, and then, oh my God, maybe by that time you got 20 or $30,000 of coin, whatever. It doesn't matter. And, you know, then you just
yes,
take out 3,000 a month at that point, you know,
yeah.
or 4 or
So,
5,000 because you know whatever the price stability can handle,
mm-hmm,
it becomes kind of an art. You know, yeah, at some point
yeah,
your buying and selling becomes an art, you
yeah.
know.
So patience is the way to go.
It is. We want to have
Yeah,
patience, you know, for good reason. You know,
yeah.
it's difficult to become wealthy without patience.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I don't
Okay.
think
It
it's
was.
possible. I've never met a
I agree.
wealthy person that wasn't patient to begin with, you know, kind of
It's
a
amazing.
necessary ingredient.
Okay.
Lots of impatient poor people, though, lots of them.
Mm,
So consider that. All right. So moving
Yeah.
on, we've got Paul Thompson out of the UK. How are you doing, Paul?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks. Hello to everyone. Hello, Ace.
Hey,
Yeah, just I've got a few new members, new referrals, members of the
Some
team.
shout outs. You want to do some shout outs?
Yeah, I think Pam Babs is on the call, I think. So put your hand up, Pam, and say hi if you're on the call.
Yeah. Hey,
There she
Paul.
is. Hi,
Yeah,
Pam.
Hi,
hey,
Ace.
great to
No,
see
hey,
you.
no camera, but
All right.
thank you.
But
Appreciate the welcome.
we're glad you're here, Pam.
Thanks. Glad to be here. I'm sure it, the more calls I get on, the more clear everything will become. Because
That's true. Very true. If this is your
yeah,
first call, it's probably like drinking out of a fire hose. So yeah.
definitely. Yes.
A lot going on here. Very different stuff you never seen before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
other than
And
the shout out, Paul, did you have anything you want to raise? Anything you want to talk about?
My new referrals are very excited about the idea of being able to use their holdings for the loan program,
Yes.
and just wondering, how that's going and how soon that might be something that's available to new members and old altogether.
Yep. So it's the line of credit thing is coming very soon. We had some bugs that kind of interrupted programming for the line of credit, but I'm hoping that we'll have the line of credit, before the end of this week. So by Friday, today's Monday, so by Friday, I hope. And then that was great because then a person could actually come with no coin at all and they get a line of credit. They get $400 a coin just for signing up, you know. And otherwise, it takes a few days to accumulate that just by doing the activities we do on the pool funding website. Um, and yeah, it's just very exciting. The other thing is this doubling it from 1,500 to 3,000, so you can do 2 loans a day. That code is being written too. I hope that's also done before Friday of this week. So that's my expectation, if you will, that those two things will be done by then. I think the doubling thing from 1,500 to 3,000 is easy. That just take not even a day, just a couple hours. You know, that can be coded. We're so close on the line of credit. It's almost there. It's just that we had some bugs come in like, oh, we need to address these because they're popping up in more than one place. So anytime something repeats, we jump on it. Like, okay, that's important to put our attention on. So that's kind of what held us up for a few days and kind of messed up the weekend as far as what I want to accomplish during the weekend. Anyway,
Awesome. Thank you.
you're welcome, Paul. All right, Hunter, I think you're next, and then Carrie after that. Go ahead, Hunter.
All right, first off, Pam, welcome to pool funding. We're glad to have you here. All right, and second off, Hayes, I was just curious what your thoughts are on allowing the members of the community to buy and sell amongst themselves as peer-to-peer buying and selling, because I've had a couple different people asking me about that.
I want to discourage that for now because it is more complicated than people think. The scammers love that window. When that window opens up, the scammers are going to come in like you would not believe. Okay. And I don't think the community is immune enough from that to not fall for a lot of the stuff that would go on. So I would discourage it right now. I'd wait for, me to create something that's a platform that can create, escrow and trust and all that, So otherwise people are going to be, otherwise the drama is going to go through the roof, and drama slows down team growth. So even though,
Either that
yes,
or
you can do it, but
go ahead.
there's nothing really stopping people from doing it. I just don't want to teach it or encourage it. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is, yeah, all the things I just said, the scammers
Agreed.
and everything, you know.
Right,
Anything else?
and what one thought I did have about that is perhaps as a sort of a stopgap measure for that, we could have some trusted member of the community serve as an intermediary or escrow, as it were,
Now we do
for
have
the time being anyway.
we do have a new uh cash center, if you will. So that's different. So if someone that wants to buy our coins, they need to have USDT. And a lot of people struggle to get USDT through normal channels. And so reach out to me if you're looking to buy anything over $200. So if you want to buy and you're struggling to do it on your own, you can reach out to me directly and I'll connect you to this guy buys like $100,000 at a time, of crypto, and then he sells it off. So just connect you with this guy and you can Zelle to him, you can Cash App. There's a million different ways you can send money to this guy, and it's his business. He's basically, he calls himself a crypto broker, But yeah, he's no problem accumulating a whole bunch of USDT for our community and then sell it off bit by bit to those that need it. For anybody who's challenged in getting it on their own, you can try to buy it through your MetaMask wallet. You can try to buy it through, even PancakeSwap, or buy it through crypto.com. There's a lot of places you can buy, but because of all the the KYC, and it can be really it's touchy, especially the only thing you're using is a phone, and you're trying to do KYC only on a phone. If you click the wrong way, you got to start over. It can be very frustrating, And with this guy, you don't have to do any KYC. If you want to buy a couple $1,000, no KYC. Want to buy $10,000, no KYC. How's that sound?
Good.
So yeah, we got a great contact. Thanks to Lisa. Lisa introduced him to me. And so we're excited about working with him. Again, the question comes up, is it okay to buy and sell amongst ourselves? I'm saying that there's nothing stopping you per se doing that unless you sell to someone that's not trustworthy and they immediately take what you sold them and immediately dump it. Then that's going to come back on you. We're going to trace it back on the blockchain. Okay, here's the dumper. We don't know who that is, but here's the person that gave them the coin to dump it. Okay, we suspend your account. So be very careful about trying to do this now. Like I want to discourage buying and selling among yourselves unless you really know for sure you can trust the other party. and then you do it and there's no problem, right? I'm not going to stop something that's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? But we have seen people that said that they, had someone approach them saying, "Hey, I can do this for you, and I can help you, get some money now." And then they gave them their coin, and then they immediately took their coin and sold it and kept it, and then scammed them out of their money. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't even know this person. They just fell for one of these little scams. So the scammers are already out there. I'm just telling you, when we talk about buying and selling among ourselves, it should be basically no, unless, right? No, unless you really, really trust the other person not to do something stupid with the coin that you gave them. Okay, because they're going to come back on you if they do. All right, so I hope that's very clear. Carrie from Thailand, how are you today?
Thank you. I just have a quick question. The line of credit, will it be extended to existing members or is it only for new people?
Say that again.
The line of credit, will it be extended to old members or is it only for new recruits?
No, we're going to have a bridge for old members. The line of credit is a way for us to grow faster.
Okay.
That's the thing holding us up right now is we're not growing fast enough. So that's why I'm creating the line of credit first and then the bridge after that. Yeah.
Okay. And then my second question would be is it based on kind of like responsible borrowing or is it all four loans coming out at one time or can you get to choose kind of stagger it or yeah, because I feel like we could have some irresponsible borrowing and people not paying back if it's all new and fresh to them and they don't really want to go to the market to buy coins.
I'm watching it. I'm definitely watching
Okay.
it. I have my own personal experience. Let me share my personal experience with you because I'm utterly surprised that this went way better than I thought it would. So
Yeah, that's my question. How many people are defaulting? Or
yeah,
actually,
exactly.
yeah.
So from my personal experience, I do a loan every day. So just from my personal experience, if I look at it here and I refresh this to get the most recent and I go to lend, okay. So you can see here that, okay, I got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So out of 8, only 2 defaulted. I thought it'd be more like 50%. I got people.
Yeah, I don't have any defaults on mine, and I have a lot.
I got people paying early here,
Yeah.
which I've encouraged that too, right? So
Okay.
look at all the people that paid early, and I've only had 2 defaults, period. So this is going way better than I thought it would. So I'm going to assume that the line of credit will have similar results where, there won't be that many people defaulting anyway because, they're really getting a pretty good deal if they just follow all the rules. And that means in about 30 days, they got to go buy, $400 of coin. You know what I'm saying? And then hopefully people paid off their loans early and they don't have to buy $400, right?
Okay.
The
Yeah.
magic of paying early is a domino effect. And then, but of course we want to encourage buying anyway, so yeah. So I'm thinking that this is going to work out better than I thought. I'm thinking the
Fantastic.
line of credit is going to make us grow super fast. Because who wouldn't want to grab, $400 of online money? You know what I'm saying? So digital money online. That's just a good idea. I
Great.
think
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right. So I'm just curious where Lawless are. Are you in South Africa or something like that? Was it really cold where you're at? You must be in the other hemisphere. All right, go ahead.
Hi.
What's going-
I'm in New Zealand.
Oh, you're in New Zealand. Oh, got it. Got it. Little chilly where you're at. A little cold today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I like the color of that blanket. It's my favorite color. Purple.
That's actually my sister.
Oh, that's your sister, Casey. Okay, we got the sisters here. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here with us and joining us today. All right. I just thought it was cute that you're all trying to stay warm. Because where I'm at, it is so hot. I just want to take my shirt off. That's what I feel like doing. But that's not allowed. So anyway, all right. So I think we're good. No more hands up. Everybody's happy. Just to kind of check your pulse. If you're happy, say so. Say I'm happy. If you're happy.
If
I'm
you're
happy.
happy, you know it, clap your hands.
Happy.
Happy.
I'm happy.
Happy.
I'm happy.
Oh, happy. I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Clap your hands.
Happy.
I'm happy.
All right.
Thank you, Sir Ace.
Everybody happy.
We're doing something good.
Yeah,
Okay, so many
Everybody
so
happy.
I'm glad to
Thank
hear
you, Sir
that.
Ace.
That's
God bless.
wonderful. All right,
More
we'll go ahead and
power.
end the recording now. Thank you all for coming.